What's up, guys? This is Big D. I am the Grim Rider. And as you've seen just recently on my other videos, I had finally been reunited after a 3-year separation with my favorite bike I have ever owned, the Undertaker. And not to get into it too much or to drag it out too long, but obviously the Undertaker meant a great deal to me. I've talked about it many times on this channel and with many of my stories, and you know, I've got many videos of my trip still up with that bike and stuff. And I had just recently gone down to Toledo Harley-Davidson where they had the bike there, and I did purchase it back, so therefore reunited with that motorcycle. But as I had noted, and as any of you that have been watching my channel for a while knows, that there are many things that were on that bike when I owned it that is no longer on that bike now. So one of the main things, and most notably, was the fairing that was on the front of that bike that had the Grim Reaper and the word Undertaker painted on the fairing, hence why that bike got the name of the Undertaker. And that's was one of its most defining features. And so again, that was missing, but there's a small glimmer of hope. One of the parts department guys at Toledo Harley-Davidson gave me the name of a gentleman that apparently is the one that traded the bike in there. And he gave me his number, and he said that there's a very minute, small possibility that this gentleman may still have that fairing, and if he doesn't, then he may know at least what happened to it. So I'm going to try to give him a call and see if I can potentially locate this fairing, or at least figure out what happened to it. I also got another number from a guy, or not a number, but a name for a guy at Motown Harley-Davidson where I originally traded the bike in years ago. And so if the one guy doesn't know anything about it, maybe the other guy at the Harley dealership may know something about it. I don't have my hopes up very high, but I'm hoping to a certain degree that I can at least find some kind of information about this fairing, where it is, or at least what happened to it. So I'm going to give the guy a call right now, see what happens. Best of luck, I hope, right?
You have reached the voicemail box.
Well, I was actually hoping to get through to somebody, but all I got is a voicemail. So I'm hoping that since I left a message, that he will get back a hold of me, and I can try to find anything out. So I wish I had more for this right this second, but that's I was hoping to actually get a hold of him instead of having to leave a message. So if he does call me back, then I'll try to get this turned back on, and if not, then we may have to wait and call this other gentleman at the Harley dealership and see if I can get anything that way. So, all right, so no call back yet from the first guy. So the one Harley dealership, they are actually still open today, so I'm going to try to give them a call right quick and see if this other gentleman that works here has any kind of information that maybe he can give me on this fairing. So let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. Well, strikeout number 2 for the day. The second gentleman that I was trying to get a hold of does in fact work at this dealership still, but of course he's not working today. So I may have to try tomorrow. So far, 2 swings, 2 misses on trying to get any information on this fairing whatsoever. So I guess that's all for now, unless I get a call back from the first guy Okay, what was the name of the shop? Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, no problem. Have a good day.
Yep, bye-bye. Okay, not a whole lot of information, but I got a little something. There's he bought it from like a friend of his who had bought it from a different shop, and it wasn't even Motown. The Harley dealership that he bought it from. Apparently, there's another shop that is down in the Toledo area that buys motorcycles at auctions and things like that. So apparently he bought the bike, and then by the time this guy that I just talked to, because he bought it from a friend who bought it from this other shop, apparently when his friend bought the bike, the fairing was already gone. So either one of two things had happened. Either the fairing was removed at this other little shop in Toledo, or the Harley dealership had removed the fairing before they even sold it. Apparently, the one guy at the Harley dealership is not in today, and the other shop, I got to do some digging. The one gentleman I just talked to gave me the name of the shop. He said that I can go on Facebook and find it, and then I'll be able to like get a phone number and the profile for the guy who apparently owns said shop. But shop probably isn't open today, so this is as far as I'm going to make it as far as the search for today. So we may have to try again tomorrow or in the next day or two to see if we can find some other information about the Undertaker's fairing. So, well, until that time, we'll fast forward to tomorrow or whenever it is that I get a chance to make these other phone calls. And again, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens then. Well, guys, today is a new day, and we're going to be following up on some leads. So first things first, well, actually, I have two different shops to call. One's a Harley dealership, and one is apparently the one that bought the bike at an auction and then, you know, did some things to it. So, being that the Harley dealership, from what I've been told, sometimes just takes these fairings off and stuff before they even sell these bikes, we're going to call there first, see what happens. Hi, could I speak with the if he's available? I traded a motorcycle into you guys about 3 years ago, and I recently just purchased it back, but it's missing a fairing that was on it when I traded it in. The face of the Grim Reaper had the word Undertaker painted on the front of it. Alright, thank you. Okay, so, still haven't been able to talk to the guy that I was told about. Apparently he was in a meeting, but this other guy I just talked to said that he's at least going to look into it, and took my phone number. He may call me back, he might not. I may have to try again here later. I got one more phone call to make. We'll see what happens there. Hi, is available? How are you? My name's Dwayne, and I've got a question for you. There was a motorcycle that apparently went through your shop a couple years ago, and it was a purple and orange Road King. It had the Grim Reapers painted on the saddlebags and on a... Okay. Well, I just purchased that bike from Toledo Harley, and originally I had owned that bike several years ago, and when I had traded it in, there was a fairing on the front of it. It had the Grim Reaper and had the word Undertaker painted on the front of it. Well, once I refound and repurchased this bike, that fairing was gone, and I'm just trying to track down maybe what had happened to it. So it came off at your guys' shop? He just bought the fairing and not even the bike? I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Yep, bye-bye. Okay, so what had happened, it sounds like, from talking to this guy. This is the other little shop, little motorcycle repair shop in Toledo. And apparently they're the ones that bought the bike at auction from Motown and then went completely through the bike and then resold it. Well, it sounds like, in talking to this guy here, as they had the bike apart, going through it and just doing things that needed to be done, the fairing was already kind of sitting off to the side, and there was a friend of his that came in and saw it, wanted to buy it, and apparently, as far as he can recall, this was a couple years ago, bought the fairing, took it home. He's not sure if he would still have that fairing, if maybe it had been painted over by now or something. He said there may be a chance that maybe he just took it home, never did anything with it, still has it. So he's actually going to contact his friend, give him my name, my number, hopefully call me back. So again, at least I hope I hear something, from somebody. But at that point, maybe I can at least figure out, okay, if he has it, if he got rid of it, if he just painted over it for a different project of his own. And I'm hoping that that's the last bit of tracking down I need to do. I'll know one of two ways of how this would go. Either, he still has it, and I'm able to get it back. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is, either he got it and he's already used it, repainted it, whatever, or two, tossed it out or something, who knows. So, hopefully I'm kind of getting to the end of this road, and we will eventually, very soon, find the fate of the Undertaker's fairing. So, that's where we're at right now. So, fingers crossed that we hear some good news very soon. Well, guys, it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I got the last bit of information on the Undertaker's fairing. Unfortunately, I think that's where my detective work is going to come to an end. I'm not getting any further with that, obviously, in that time frame. So, a quick recap. Found out that the bike went from Motown Harley-Davidson, sold to another little shop in Toledo, who then sold it to a guy, who sold it to a guy, who then traded it into Toledo Harley-Davidson, where I then went and bought it back. The fairing went with the bike from Motown to the little shop, which then the fairing got sold off to somebody else without the bike, probably for his own project or something. Who really knows? But even though I don't have the fairing back, at least I kind of figured out where the journey that the Undertaker and that fairing took. So I guess I'm just not going to end up having that fairing. On the other hand, however, I do have the bike, and on top of that, I have 2 accessories that I did put on the bike when I owned it originally, and one of those is its whip. It's going to get the whip real quick. I'm going to slap that on here real quick. There we go. Yeah. So now it's got its whip. And even more importantly than that, there's a piece that I used to swap in and out on this bike, whether I was just riding with myself or by myself, or if my wife was riding with me, I would swap this piece out for the trunk, which obviously I also don't have. But that is this guy. The big old school style sissy bar. It's got the skull topper, and I've I didn't know what else to do with this, but I traded the bike in with the trunk still on it. So I kept the sissy bar. Since I still have it, I'm going to put it back on where it rightfully belongs. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That needs cleaned up just that. It's been sitting in the garage for the last 3 years. But there it is, you guys. So even though we don't have the fairing, we do have the old school sissy bar and its get back whip, and they're back where they belong, and that's on the Undertaker. So with that being said, this detective story has come to an end. And with that being said, I am Big D. I am the Grim Rider. And if you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Join the Grim crew and make sure that you don't miss anything in the future. It's going to be a good year. I have this feeling in my heart. I really do. So don't miss it. And until next time, we'll catch you down the road.